Purple people, give it up for my man Peter V, the party man himself. He rocks the party. He rocks the house. He rocks the whole world, north, east, and south, and the west. Give it up for Peter V and the Purple Interactive Karaoke, all of that in one. He's my man. Clap it up for Peter V. Clap it up for Peter V. All right. And again, the live music piece, man, Miss Bonds, you killed it. Clady, you killed it. Marvan, H-Town is definitely in the building. This is how we funk in H-Town, no doubt. But without further ado, many of you came here tonight because you knew that I had the beautiful, the talented, my sisters, the twins in the building. So I know you're already clapping, you're already excited. Give it up for my sisters, the twins. How y'all doing?
Amazing. Sending our love to everybody. You guys.
Like I said before, coming to you live from Copenhagen through Houston to you and to the rest of the world. So we'll start out by letting everybody know where you all are checking in from. And then the standard questions, talk about your background, your upbringing, where you came from, etc. Let's get it going.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm tuning in from Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Excellent.
My beach. I'm going to do some little Hawaiian dancing. The beach does look like that. I'm just in my my little jungle oasis right now.
I can dig it. What about you, Nandy?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Excellent. The city of angels, an angel in the city of angels. How about that? 2 angels, one in Mexico, one in Cali. So as I stated, for those that may not know, give a little bit of background about where you're from and how you got yourself started in the whole entertainment world.
Do you want me to go first? We're from Australia. We grew up in a small beach town called Byron Bay. All the hippies moved up there in the 70s, so we're definitely hippies at heart. We moved to Sydney to pursue a dance and a music career. And Michael Jackson was our inspiration.
Okay.
You know, we growing up, there weren't many mixed people out there, and we were definitely identifying with his image and music. And our dad was a musician, so we were a huge fan of him, and he inspired us to train and vocally and dance wise. So yeah, that's how we grew up.
Okay.
You want to add, Matt?
Yeah.
I think our mum was a huge inspiration as well. She kind of brought us up in a way of just following your dreams. You know, she didn't really give us much direction, but she said, just do what you love, follow your dreams. And we're like, well, we want to meet Michael Jackson. How big that was our main dream, and to dance with him. And I said, well, I don't think Michael Jackson's going to come to where we're living. We're in like a remote beach town. And then she goes, well, I said, I think you might go to one of the big cities. She goes, I guess you better move to Sydney then. And this is 14. So she just supported us moving to Sydney, and we got into performing arts and dance down there. And then when Michael Jackson came to visit, he had his tour, we met him. We got to go to 2 of his concerts, hung out with him for 4 hours in the hotel room, and he had a bunch of kids there watching movies, playing music, you know, eating candy and ice cream, and it was really cute. So we had a beautiful experience with him there. It was
the highlight to that event was he ended up giving every child there a jacket, a hat, or a glove.
Okay.
So me and my sister walked away with Russian Michael Jackson jackets.
Military style.
Yeah, I saw that there was a YouTube video where you kind of documented the day of getting ready, traveling.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration? See, I was doing my homework. What was the inspiration behind you guys putting that together and wanting to capture that moment? Did you know, or did you feel in your heart that was going to be the day, or am I off?
If you're referring to the Michael Jackson audition video, is that what you refer to? Well, we got a call from our agent to audition for Michael Jackson, and this was after we had worked with Prince too. So it was definitely a dream to be in the running, and we were just so enthusiastic because that was our childhood dream.
Right.
So we filmed the whole thing, and it was interesting because the British press reached out to us and they said, you guys are the first people to release any inside press or anything from the audition process. So they swarmed us, and then we did some interview which didn't really turn out good. Because I said that when I saw Michael Jackson in the theater at the Nokia Theater when we were auditioning, because he walked down the aisle and there were 50 of us left. It was this is the language I used with the interview. I said it was so beautiful. It was like it was glowing in the dark. And then guess what the headline was for that British interview? Michael Jackson glows in the dark. And I felt horrible because obviously I grew up as a fan, and all of his, scrutiny against the press and how they deal with him was all he used to sing about that. And I said, oh my God, I just created another one for him. No. So I felt horrible, but to film in it, we're inspired and excited. So we did it.
Okay. I already had knowledge about your affection for Michael Jackson. And so I want to kind of segue into that how difficult was it when Prince came into the picture? Talk about the early meetings, how you met, and what your initial impressions were.
Well, it was funny when that journey began, because we were working with like a performing arts, like African-American dance company down in Inglewood called Lula Washington Dance Company. And getting into that, we were just like, okay, we really wanted to dance with Michael Jackson and do commercial dancing, and we were doing a lot of Afro ballet. It was a really awesome foundation. They did great shows, but it wasn't really exactly what we wanted to do. So one day we were headed to rehearsals, and we were like, I think we need to end this journey. And we called them up and said, hey, I think this isn't right for us anymore, and thank you so much for everything. And they were going, awesome, good. And, they just let us go easy. It was like, oh, that was cool. And then like a couple of days later, we had the audition for Prince. And it was our first dance audition being here in America through our new agent, which was Block at the time. So we did our first dance audition with him, and we were just so green. We didn't really know anything. Fatima was the choreographer in this dance audition. They were playing a song that was him, and I think it was a Tamar song too. Was it Incense and Candles, I think?
Okay.
Choreography. And we didn't know anything, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, this girl isn't Fatima, and she's probably just Fatima's assistant, because I didn't know what she looked like. And I said, and that's not a Prince song. Like it didn't sound like Prince. It didn't feel like it was him. I just didn't know what was going on. So that was the kind of the audition process. Me and Nandy were both in the room, and we heard after the audition that Prince was looking at the audition tapes because he wasn't there. And then I figured out and learned later that was Fatima, and that was Prince singing. And it was, we were just so young and green and didn't know anything on you in Hollywood.
Gotcha. And then up and auditioning. Just showing up and doing your thing.
Yeah, and then so we heard after that audition that Prince saw the video, and that one of us was on one side of the room and we were dancing, and then the camera kind of panned over, and then there was another one. He goes, "Is there two of them?" If this is what we heard, and then he's like, "Oh, there's two of them." And then we heard that he liked the way that we danced, like the style was different from everyone else, and we hadn't had a chance to train with any choreographers or anyone to pick up their style to really nail any of their choreography, because it was our first kind of audition.
Right.
I felt like it was a little bit of, because we did like salsa and samba and a lot of Latin dance, and had that background in Australia. So maybe that some of that energy was in kind of the way we interpreted the choreography. But yeah. So he picked us off that video, and that was it.
So tell me, so after that, and you knew you were going to be making moves, what was the first event, show? What was the first place you traveled and rocked the stage with Prince?
The first location. Do you, Nandy?
I don't remember the first location either, but I do remember it was it the Nokia Theater in New York? I believe that was one of them. But we were touring with Tamar's album at the time. So Prince was the guitarist for her, and it was Tamar, and then me and Maya, like Tina Turner and the Arquettes type of a setup.
Right.
And Prince wasn't originally meant to be the guitarist. We had a guitarist, and he went home for family issues. was like, who does that? Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So Prince actually stood in for Tamar's guitarist,
Gotcha.
and then ended up staying in, so it organically happened that way, and which also helped book out the shows for the music that Prince and Tamar created together. But we just did a national tour around the States. I don't remember the first experience on being on stage with both of them though, but I do vividly remember at the rehearsals up in the Sunset House that he had in Hollywood.
Okay. Well, we had quite a few of our Purple brothers and sisters that are kind of heavy on the whole Prince, in the Prince community, send in some questions, and I'm going to come down a few. Some of them we may have already touched and covered, so I'll skip those and kind of give little shout outs to those who took the time to see what they want to ask you guys. So first we have MJ in the Netherlands. She wants to know, besides the Super Bowl, what other performances would you rate or consider to be iconic in with your time with Prince?
Mm-hmm. Hi, MJ.
Hi, MJ. Thanks for the question. One performance I would consider is definitely the Brit Awards with Sheila E. That was like epic. That's just all I can say about that. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, look it up. And it was just a beautiful vibe, and Sheila E. just killed it. I also like the Alma Awards too. Okay. Is that what you're going to say, Nandy?
Yeah, with the Alma Awards, the highlight about that one was that originally we were meant to perform with the Carlos Santana. So we actually had our band and then Carlos Santana's band. So it was two bands together with all his salsa and, Latin band backing us up. So and obviously Sheila E. was a feature, and then me and Maya would dance to Get on the Boat. And then we had a featured male dancer with us that we did like some salsa moments as well. So we did a lot of tricks in that performance. And, me and Maya, like salsa music definitely gets to our soul. So being a part of that whole collaboration with those two bands was just, just lifts your spirits to the next level.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, next we have my good friend Kenneth from right here in Copenhagen. Kenneth wants to know, we all know that the band needed to know 300 plus songs, depending on the mood of the Purple Yoda. How did that translate to you two? Meaning, how much was structured and rehearsed and how much was improvised?
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we used to just rehearse a bunch of songs with him, right? And then he would kind of suggest certain songs. Okay, we're probably going to do this number. Can you create something to this? And he would just send us random songs whenever he felt like it. We would kind of go off and rehearse no matter where we were. Sometimes we were in hotel rooms. We didn't even have a rehearsal studio, and we're just in front of the mirror actually choreographing what we're going to do on the spot, and then just winging it when we get trying to map it out on the stage and the location depending on where we were. When it came to the big stages, it was kind of crazy. On the cymbal stage in the round, because we had to learn how to kind of move our bodies and direct to heaps of different audiences, because it's circular, and then certain sections of the stage and going up and down the point part. So for us, I felt like sometimes there was like a chunk of songs that would just kind of be rehearsing whenever we'd all jam out with him together. And those rehearsals would just go for hours, because it's just jamming and feeling it out. And then like 10 minutes before the show, we'd probably get a set list, but really last minute. So for us, it was highly stressful, because for us, we had to do wardrobe changes, shoe changes, put sneakers on, heels, put our heelys on. Sometimes we'd have microphones, sometimes we wouldn't, sometimes we'd have headset. So there was a lot of background or backstage choreography that would need to figure out, and then placing out and figuring out the wardrobes and the outfits that would go with certain pieces of choreography too, because some outfits just didn't go with what we were doing. Maybe it was more funky, or maybe it was more sexy, and you have to dress to go with the choreography. So for us, it was a bit stressful, and we had stylists working with us too. I'm like, what are we even doing? I don't know what I'm doing next, because he doesn't really plan ahead. I totally get that now, because it's just whatever comes through and what downloads and feels authentic to him in the moment. But yeah, for us, it was like, winging it. We don't know what we're doing, and then you just got to figure it out. Occasionally would get stuck on stage with the wrong outfit, which is pretty funny. And then,
we could never tell. Obviously, you knew. We just thought it looked wonderful.
Nice. Yeah.
So it didn't matter to us. It's just we were in awe of watching you. So I just had to throw it in right quick. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just doing whatever.
And in our minds, we just had to deal with our internal dialogue. Oh, this isn't what we planned, and just let it go.
Yeah.
But he'd also
really
on the one, and then he'll just like jam into something else. So there were times where he'll just start a groove, and we're just listening. We don't know what he's going to even transition into. Mm-hmm. So if we felt like it wasn't a song we're on, or we'd even have choreography, and so he'd transition into that. We'd just slowly choreograph and move ourselves off the stage.
Right.
Have tambourine somewhere, and we're just listening. So the tambourine thing was always like a little, a musician joining. If we didn't have anything, and just kind of hype up the crowd as like hype men out there.
And that's so unbelievably awesome, because the number of shows I was fortunate to see you perform, it all looked like that was just already part of the deal. So it's great to hear the backstory and see that it was just you being creative in your own space while he was creative in his own space and just vibing off each other. And the similar, Kenneth wanted to know, we've all heard how musicians were pretty much on 24-hour call. Mm-hmm. Was that the similar arrangement you guys had, or did you have something different? How did that work out for you guys?
Thanks for the question, Kenneth. Hello.
We had a sorry, do you want to go?
So when we first started working with Prince, we did have that question. We're like, to his management, like, what's the schedule? Like, what's our weekly? Like, we had no idea. And we learned quickly that we literally just had to go with the flow and just be in the moment. Oh, this is Hemingway, by the way.
Hello. Hey.
Oh, hey.
What's going on, Hemingway?
He's up at the desk. He always like jumps and get up. So, a little cameo.
I have an English bulldog. His name is Debo. Like, with me being Craig, he's Debo, like from the movie Friday. So it's Craig and Debo.
Oh,
so I got shout out to Debo, since Hemingway has graced the cameras. Yeah. Debo's not down, but with me. So what's up, Hemingway? Shout out from Debo.
I'll give a shout out to my dog too. His name's Bernard Butler. He looks like he's a little butler with a pointy nose. Getting at the door. He's in Los Angeles right now. Shout out to Bernard. I miss you.
Shout out to all the lovers in the house. And I should have known. I should have got that energy and vibe that we shared, that similar desire for dogs. So I'm glad your dog people can't say that I really vibe well with cat people. So glad we're all dog people.
So continue. Yeah, it was the not having a schedule was difficult, because me and Maya were pursuing our own music career too. So But it's like, we need to know what time we're not working so we can schedule everything else. But we were obviously more regimented, and we just had to go with the flow. So just being on standby, getting what you can done in the gaps, and then just rolling with that.
Yeah, we had a verbal one when we first started working with him. We said, "What's the agreement?" And he was like, "You can just stay till you want to leave." That's kind of his thing. I said, so it kind of ended up being like a 1-year verbal agreement. That was our paperwork.
Not really. We just said, how long's the agreement? And he goes, as long as you like. No one should be here if they don't want to be here.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I
remember a 1-year thing that was verbal in the beginning. Like, that was the language you said. I think we're at the Costa. We were actually asking, is it Costa? What's her name? Costa. What's her name? The singer. Nick Acosta's concert. I think I remember we were having that conversation, because we hadn't had that talk yet, and we were out with him, and I remembered saying it, and I said, well, we want to just do a year or so and then see what you do want to do from then. And then he said, but so I remember that conversation too. So funny.
Along the lines of you speaking about you having interest in doing your own music, a question has come from our sister Jasmine, checking in from Las Vegas. Jasmine, if there were any unfinished projects that he was working on with you two, and if so, what were they, and how did again, the other part was, how did what you were wanting to pursue get pushed to the side or pushed down because of your hectic schedule with him?
Hey, Jasmine, how are you? Thanks for the question. Did you want to answer first, Maya?
Sure. Well, but when Prince passed, me and Nandy were both in production at the time. So he had come to us and was asking about like doing kind of branded content, and cross promotions with like credit card companies and things like that.
Okay.
We were actually putting some proposals together and to reach out for other ways to him to kind of get deals. It's random. And then I guess would be producing whatever that content would be, video format and whatever photography. Nandy was doing photography. So that was kind of one deck that we were kind of putting together, and we were like in the beginning stages of kind of connecting with whoever we needed to make that happen for him. Right. I love that Prince just reaches out to people that it's not even their wheelhouse, really. I mean, the production side is, but I don't have any relationships with, MasterCard or any of that, but you just make it happen because you're calling from the Prince camp. That's kind of the freedom that he had. Right. So that was one kind of project that we were in the beginning stages of. And then I was also working for a production company in Los Angeles, and they had an awesome relationship with Apple's advertising company that was up the road from where we were. So I was connected to someone that worked there, and so I was taking a meeting with them to propose a certain kind of collaboration with Apple and Prince. And one of them, the idea that just creatively, conceptually wise, and I hadn't even spoken to Prince about this yet because he was wanting deals, but I wanted to make sure they were on board first with their creative directors. Right. So the idea was, this was literally before the iPhone 7 had released, and 7 was his birth date and favorite number and everything. And then so I was researching some kind of background on also what the number 7 meant. And some information that I pulled up online was talking about like it means perfection, kind of spiritually, and just whatever.
Perfection.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, maybe we can create some kind of copy and conversation around that. And I proposed like a kind of like a visual of Prince, like documentary style, filming him at Paisley on his piano, just creating like really intimately. And then having kind of his voice over the top of the imagery, saying something like when I create, like it comes through like perfection, and something like something, and then iPhone 7 perfection or something like that, and tying it in with the iPhone. So I proposed that to them, and literally like the week after he passed, I'd heard back, and they were like, we love the idea. And it was just, the off timing. And that would have been like an awesome like launch for Prince, teaming up with Apple. Would have been awesome. And I was right in the pocket at the time with the advertising agency, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah. And then the other project was, I think Nandy was in more of these conversations with him when she had spent some time with him. Do you want to share it with the documentary?
Yeah, so when we were doing the photography sessions with him, because I was photographing him for promotional content, to promote the records and the albums at the time around the hit and run era.
Right.
And he'd sit down in front of the TV and start playing documentaries that people had featured him in that he didn't sign off on, and he was grooming me to look at what didn't work for him, and then showed me the Woodstock with the Jimi Hendrix performance and all of that, and said, this is a documentary that, that's more in line with what I'm interested in doing. And so he was grooming me to starting to archive like personal family photos and things like that he got from family. So that was a project that was, in the early stages of just like archiving and prepping and all of that. So it was gotcha. Because he said no one's done it right yet. So yeah, documentary.
And then when me and Nandy work together, when she's directing, I'm usually producing. So my mind kind of starts, thinking of the business and the connections and the partnerships and stuff. So she was kind of in those conversations, and I'm like, okay, I'd recently just reconnected with one of the Hughes brothers. They did like Menace to Society, I think it was. Yep. A lot of those guys, and they knew Prince too. They're twins. So I met with one of the twins. They one was in Europe and one was here, and I was spending time with him. And he had just done the Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine documentary. What was it called? The Defiant Ones.
Yeah.
So me and some friends that had introduced me to him. We were pretty much in some of the viewing kind of parties that he had before the final editing. So we were watching some of the behind the scenes of that, and I just loved the way that he did that documentary, his mindset behind it. And then we had conversations about his interactions with Prince from the past when they met him when they were younger. So they already had a relationship, and because he had already launched, this awesome other documentary that it was in the midst of. And I said, you can't edit this thing down. I was giving him notes on it, and I was like, everything. There's nothing you can cut out. You need to make this like longer. And I think it was a longer series, the way that he did it too, not just a 2-hour thing. It was awesome. And so the Saturday after Prince passed, we had already had a meeting locked in. I was to meet with him in Malibu to sit down and discuss what we can create for the Prince documentary. And once he was on board, I was going to reintroduce that to Prince too. And it was all in the same week. It was crazy.
Oh, so where is that? Is it tucked away?
No, we hadn't even shot anything. It was literally the preliminary meetings.
Preliminary, okay.
Yeah, and he would have been able to just tie it straight into Netflix. He had all those relationships set up, so he would have come in as an EP. And then he's also a director too, so and he just did the Defiant one. So I was like, he would be able to mentor us to direct.
Right.
Make sure that we nail it with his vision too. So he would have been kind of like an advisor / EP on the project. Like, that would have been amazing. Of course, I had to say yes and sign off on it all, but he was already in all those conversations with us. So it felt like a real opening there. So.
All right. Dope. It's dope. I'm going to move forward with the next one. We got our sister Claire, who's checking in from Honolulu, Hawaii. So she's going to be. Claire, what is one thing that each of you find most rewarding in your lives now, creatively and or personally?
Good question.
Yeah, good question.
Hemingway is definitely rewarding right now. I'm directing now, obviously, so being able to listen to a song for a music video, or create a product and content for a client that has a business that's making an impact in the world, and fully getting into the narrative, telling the story, and and delivering a product from the inception to the delivery of the product and releasing it. Like, that's, I'm not saying it's like God, but you're fully, that's what it's like, when you're at the source of creation, and then when it's connected to a project or a person that's, their heart's in the right place and they're inspired about what they're doing, and their product makes an impact in the world. Like, like India Ari, I directed one of her videos. I couldn't have manifested a better client. And so her music and the impact it makes on people, there's just nothing better. And I love creating visual content. So just amplifying people's, authentic voice through video is it for me. I love it.
Okay. You, sis?
For me, is really just living in alignment with my intuition and being present with what's calling to me in the moment. Because sometimes we can just get stuck in like plans and, and where we want to go to, and goals and attachments and things for the future. And then as soon as you just let all that stuff go, like I've had vision boards and things before, and it never works for me. I just like, oh my God, like it has me feel attached to try and making things happen, and it's just exhausting. So being able to live in that way and be present is like, it feels really magical. I was just laying on my bed last night and just looking out at the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And just being present with life and nature, and so nature is definitely an inspiration for me, and And then also I work with clients, helping them live that way. So it's very rewarding being able to, meet with someone for the first time, listen to what they're dealing with and the issues that they're having in their life, and just going in and kind of helping them connect with who they truly are, and then transform their whole mindset, their spirit, what they're doing for a living. Some people quit their jobs and shift into a totally different line of career that's their passion, and they get to live their purpose, or they start contributing to more people when I can really help them become who they authentically are, instead of what, other people think they should be, or what society or their family brought them up to be. So that's a definite passion for mine. I just got off a call with a girl today who's in the entertainment industry, and she's like, I want to be the president. I'm just like, let's do it. Let's go. So being able to work with people that have a vision too, and some people that need accountability in that, right? And the support and a certain listening. So yeah, I just love doing that. And then of course my music. I was just sitting on the veranda last night, just under the stars with a candle on, just playing my songs. And I'm just like, it's just so healing and beautiful and expansive and just present and gorgeous. So, working on my music project, that's what I'm working on now, and putting those pieces together. And I love it. Just being creative and connecting with everything of all your expression is what inspires me.
Right. And speaking of your music, I want to let you know how much I thoroughly enjoyed the show you did for us in Houston. It was very inspiring and it was very touching. So I get what you mean. You could tell that it was coming from from your core, and it was authentic and pure. So I still have fond memories of you doing the intimate show for us in Houston that one summer.
Doing that. So beautiful. I definitely want to come back.
And we're going to make sure that happens. We're going to make sure that happens. We may have to talk about getting you to Copenhagen first, but we're going to get you to Houston again. And it's going to be two, not just you. On the flip side, I'm a former athlete. I played Division I college football. I had a brief professional career. I know a little bit something about how the adrenaline is right before you take the field, right before you're about to go do your thing. So Claire also wanted to know, do you ever miss the days of the adrenaline rush before a show, or does it all seem like such a distant memory?
So I was talking to a friend yesterday about this. So we're all in the music industry, like she toured with Rihanna and did all this stuff. She wasn't a dancer, but heavily always in the musical environment. And, recently, me included, like I've been more in the mental game rather than the physical game. Like you did sports, and now you're, leading, we're leading with our minds more so. And recently I also have a client that at an advertising agency. So I've been doing production and writing copy and even so one thing that I expanded in within that client was like getting into the musical part of it. So writing melodies for pitches for our clients, and just starting getting into the music again was like I could totally feel the physical shift in my body. Because I've been in the head game for so long recently, because before it was always just music leading the way, blah blah blah. Right. So yeah, me and my girlfriend were talking about that, and she was setting up an event that had music in it, and then some music song came on, and she's like, it's freaking got into my soul, and I haven't felt that in so long. And I said, yeah, because you've been in the head game, planning and scheduling and doing all this stuff, and that's where we all came from. So it was funny. We're both experiencing tapping back into the music again recently, and we can feel the difference, and it definitely feels like home. So I miss. I don't necessarily miss doing that format, that's, I've been there, done that, but just having that extra expression through the music is recently again, it's definitely been a joy and lifted my frequency higher.
Okay.
Music is so healing, but I think everyone's been experiencing the lack of it because of COVID. No one's going to get to go to concerts and just feel that actual physical energy instead of just listening through your phone or your computer or whatever.
I want to have a dance party in my living room right now.
Right.
And shake it up.
The reason this platform kind of became is so that people would have a safe place to go to get quality music, live music, intriguing interviews from relevant people such as yourself. So I'd like to think that we tried to do the best we could with the cards we were dealt to try to keep the purple music going, keep the purple music alive, because the in-person parties in Houston were the talk of the town, and people will want to know, Craig, what are you going to do now this pandemic? Well, we're going to flip the page and we're going to get creative, and then we'll get back to normal when we can get back to normal. So this has substituted in somewhat. So I know there's people already have been up in their living rooms dancing, and there will be more up in their living room dancing. And if you weren't, the twins said so. Get up, move around, dance, get your adrenaline working. We got more live music coming, more DJ mix sets. But talking about sports and me mentioning my little background, I was one of the most memorable things in my life that I will forever cherish is the opportunity I had to be at Super Bowl 41. I actually ran into you guys on Ocean Drive and had a moment. We took a picture. I cherished that picture. We talked. We were at the press conference when y'all came out at the press. And I was at all of that. But the game itself, Christine from the UK asks, how long did the rehearsals last in preparation for the Super Bowl?
Nice transition, by the way.
Yeah.
Nailing it.
I don't remember the timeline, but we rehearsed in Vegas.
It felt fast.
Yeah,
it felt pretty fast. Yeah.
But we started the rehearsals in Vegas because we were doing the shows in Vegas.
Right.
We did the residency there at the Rio.
The Rio, I was there. Present. I was there. Okay.
Actually, the Super Bowl was the first time we had to dance on the cymbal. So every other show before then was flat, just a square, white facing the audience. That's it, like a theatre style. And so I remembered mapping out the cymbal. I think we ended up having someone to get us a printout of the cymbal, so we knew what I was looking at, and then kind of mapping it out on the floor at the Rio, because we needed more space than just the stage, and then to start, mapping out how the choreography was going to look and where it was going to sit based on the design of the cymbal. So that was like our first practice, and we launched it at the Super Bowl, working on that cymbal.
And then we went to Paisley to record because we were layering all the vocals.
Okay.
We will rock you vocals.
We will rock. And had the whole band was in there. Josh, Cora, Morris, me, Maya, Shelby, everyone.
Love hearing the audio because we didn't sing that part live because it was just too crazy and we were running around all over the place. So it didn't really make sense for us to be live on the vocals. Right. But you can hear our little accents, and because I think that song is British, right? Like it's more of a British thing. So then our little accents and the tone, you can hear the Aussie. We will rock you. All open, rocking, and British vibe. So right.
Shout out to Freddie Mercury, R.I.P. and Queen for "We Will Rock You." Yes. My wife and I had to endure the entire game in the rain. I know you were out there for only the moment of time you were, but we were out there from opening kickoff through halftime, through the end of the show, post-game show. So my fraternity brother and good friend, Charles Hollis, checking in from H-Town. Shout out to Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Omega Theta Houston, had to plug that. But Charles wanted to know about the stage material and your shoes in particular at the Super Bowl, because no one slipped, no one fell. Was it something extra special that you did, or just your skill sets?
We usually approved most of our outfits and what we felt comfortable dancing in.
Okay.
But we definitely chose, obviously internally, our feet being comfortable inside the shoe. Mm-hmm. But then it was like form and function all in one. but we'll definitely just not go with like fully functional shoes because in the dance, in the dance community, a lot of the dance functional shoes just don't look, they don't look epic. They don't make you look like a rock star.
Right.
So we'd have to find a balance of comfortability, but then also, the visual image of our external look. So we chose the shoes. They were very comfortable inside, but they were high.
Okay.
And then those boots, and then to stop the slipping, we had grip on the bottom.
Okay.
But then there's the other element of obviously there's water, and we're flailing around doing big arm movements and hair movements and stuff. So Maya and I, we'd had a little huddle, and we're just like, let's just really focus on our core, which you would probably know as being a sports person too, because everything, all your drive and movement comes from your core, and to kind of act as if we're doing it big, instead of like overbalancing ourselves because we had to overcompensate with the rain and the water. So that's what we did. Yeah.
All right.
Me and my sister we did samba shows in Australia when we were younger. So we had a lot of training in those high heels, like 6-inch, like the samba shoes are like
platform,
and then like the 6 or 8-inch, whatever it was. So we had the training with those heels too from when we were younger. And then we also worked on a cruise ship we did one contract for 8 months down in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Hello. And so we learned how to dance on a moving stage when it's moving with the ocean like that. So when we did that tour, whatever you want to call it, when we did that contract, us and our cast, we created a thing called clean mark. Like we're going to do a clean mark when the waves are really rough, when we're going to do a really clean mark. And that was kind of the training. And then I think we had that was also helped with the Super Bowl and the rain and everything.
Okay. And along that line, I want to go into a question from my sister Ann in Dallas. My Delta Sigma Theta sorority sister Ann in Dallas wants to know, like, we knew you guys were dancers and you did songs. She was interested in the different roles. Were there other roles that you may have played in this Prince world? Meaning, we know you did some photography. We know you're writers. Were you given other opportunities than just what we saw that you could kind of maybe elaborate on?
And not one of them. An additional one was executive producing the Breakfast Can Wait video.
Okay.
So that was me, sourcing the talent, acquiring her, and then putting the production together and handling the budget. All the deposits came to me, and then I delegated them out. So that was another one. Ones that you probably have seen was doing interviews, because he didn't like doing as many interviews. So he did that straight off the bat in Vegas. Behind the scenes, anything else? Do you have anything
played guitar on the Super Bowl, which was one, and then in music videos, and he taught us chords to Take Me With You, which was awesome. I'm not the master guitar player, but how am I sitting here on Prince's piano playing the guitar at the Madison Square Garden? Awesome. So we played that he also gave us chords to, what was the other one? There's another song that we sung background on and played guitar on, and we shot a music video too. So he taught us the chords to that one as well, which was so playing guitar, singing, dancing. We did our own background vocals on the Planet Earth album on those songs too. Lion of Judah and whatever the other ones were.
He said we made him sound pop.
He said what?
He said we make him sound pop. I said, you're not pop.
Okay.
Hilarious. I thought he was considered pop because he's popular.
Right. Okay.
So that was obvious feedback, but yeah, we didn't manage him or
right.
Connected him with certain people that are in more of our network. Like you'd say, hey, have you got this person's number? Just little like that too.
He'd actually clean the toilets in his dressing room. Just kidding. And we made his bed. We did cooked for him sometimes. No.
We went and did the shopping together. I got some grocery shoppings one day, and he stayed in the car reading the Bible, and then when I came back, he was asleep like this.
Wow.
So I guess the Bible was pretty boring. Sitting in the back of the SUV. Yeah. So yeah, I do the shopping for Prince. I did it once.
I remember one item that he had us get. Do you know that? Have you heard of that Ezekiel bread?
Ezekiel bread?
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's like really grainy. It's all organic.
Okay.
Give me a sec. I've got the flatbread in the fridge actually.
Ezekiel bread. So for anyone out there that wants to eat healthy and have bread that has no sugar and no fructose and all, enriched, bleached flour, none of that's good for you. And the bread that he chose was like a really healthy organic one that was good. So it's the Ezekiel bread. And I think there's a couple of different types. Oh, that's the flatbread. Yeah. He got the loaf.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Everybody, you saying it? Purple fam. We're getting educated on it. For those that didn't know, obviously we're getting educated. So if you knew already, you should have told me. And now I know, so I'll have to check it out.
Yep. So got the loaf. That's the tortilla one, right? Tortillas.
Complete
flatbread.
Gotcha.
But he got the loaf one.
This must be Bible talk, right? I've never read the Bible, but I'm sure.
Yes.
Something to do with the Bible.
That's scripture.
Look at the little white dove on the front. When the doves cry.
I don't take it. I think everything is relative, and it's just amazing how things just kind of, like you say, when you flow naturally, you're not overdoing it, you're overstressing, you're not trying too hard. And while we were on the subject of kind of touched on spirituality, Prince reading the Bible, my sister Michelle from H-Town, representing the hometown H-Town, one question she had was, did Prince have any influence on you too spiritually? So see how that goes right into what we were kind of talking about. If so, how so? And that was the first question from Michelle in H-Town.
I think in the beginning, I guess it was trying to.
Okay.
In the beginning, me and Maya weren't awake yet.
Okay.
He would say things like, like we would still curse. So if we said the F word, it'd go, you what? You what? Words have power. Like it'd say things like that. It's more life lessons within that. So that was one thing, education that it was trying to give us, to have us stop cursing.
Okay.
At that time, I'm not saying that being a vegetarian spiritual, but that can be a part of it, like, cleansing your body. And so he was a vegetarian at the time. So it was kind of being more of a living example at the top part of it. But then me and Maya discovered our own aha breakthrough woke moment, which we brought back to him and pretty much downloaded all our breakthroughs that we had and self-awarenesses. And in that, and it was interesting because we didn't work for him for a year. And so within that gap, that's when we discovered it. So he didn't pop us, essentially. We popped it within a gap and then brought it back in and downloaded all our knowledge and wisdom that we discovered about ourselves and our own life journey and how it was impacting our relationship with him too. And yeah, so that was a beautiful moment. But he did introduce us to The Secret, which we've discussed and shared a bunch recently, actually, with the fans and stuff.
Yes.
He said, I don't know what religion they are or what they believe in, but it's good. So he sat the whole band down and we watched it and we stopped rehearsing one day and that was our next, so he did influence us with The Secret for sure. So we started practicing manifesting.
Law of attraction practices.
Yeah, law of attraction and manifesting what you want in life. And we manifested a $10,000 bonus after a billionaire private show once. Before the show, we planted the seed in our minds and said, we're going to manifest that we're going to get a $10,000 bonus. And then the tour manager tells us straight after, bam, they're giving you a $10,000 bonus because you guys did so well. When it's like, we were pretty cocky back then. Yeah, we know, we manifested at the top of the show.
But we did
being cool.
But we used the word secreted. We turned it into like
is that an acronym?
To use watch The Secret, and then you can secret something, and then you'll have secreted it.
So for those of you out there right now that have something that they really want to manifest, go watch The Secret, learn the little, the skills and how to do it, and then, just be intentional.
The destiny, right.
That's, what it was about, being intentional and having your energy and your intention through your thoughts and your mind create your physical reality.
Right.
And he called me once at 5 o'clock in the morning and said, whatever you say is true.
Whatever you say is true. Whatever you think.
That was another plant.
I
wasn't awake and I didn't know what that meant either.
I actually used that on one of the posts in promoting this event. I posted a picture just yesterday and I just quoted Prince and said, whatever you think is true. See how all this ends up right together. So that always lets me know that I'm doing something right. So as I don't think it's coincidence at all. So I appreciate you speaking about that. And have a few more questions to go. I know I could talk to you guys forever and ever, but we did set a timetable to respect your time. Audria in Atlanta, checking in from Atlanta.
Hey, Audria.
One of my favorite performances too was the American Idol show where y'all did Lolita. A lot of people were surprised that he would do that show. And she wants to ask, how did that come about? If you know any interesting stories to tell about that whole experience with American Idol.
Well, I remember it was on the schedule and we had to rehearse and come up with how many minutes? A couple of minutes, 7 minutes. I can't remember how long it was.
And I think that was actually the first performance that we did without Tamar too, because we were always performing with Prince and Tamar with her stuff. And then that was the first time it was just me and Nandy and Prince with that one.
Better said, that was the first time we performed with Prince with just the three of us. Yeah. So that was definitely, for me, there was a lot of, high stakes and pressure there. And yep, I remember to stretch inside stage and Prince said, don't do that in public. That's right.
We got to get our bodies stretched.
Me and Maya had definitely, comebacks and kind of more stubborn back then, trying to win and be right or whatever.
I remember it was us and then I think the driver that dropped us off.
Okay.
We just walk in and there's no security guard. So I felt so protective of him because everyone backstage and everyone that's in the part of the show and crew and everyone, they all and I felt protective and we were wearing those maroon kind of I Dream of Genie outfits and our hair was up like that. And we had those what are they, gold, anklet kind of things on. And I remembered he was standing behind us and when we were waiting side stage and me and Nandy was in front of him like this. And I felt like I was his security guard because there was no one else, no managers. It was just Prince just wandering in with me and Nandy all loose and there's no protection. Wow. There was no holding area, no dressing room. We just walked in for the show and then left. And so I felt like I was standing there like holding the space to block people who might want to come in. So I felt like we were like his little bookends, just kind of taking care of him. It was really fun.
We didn't know how we were going to enter the performance either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was part of
the practice and coming on and off, right?
Yeah. And then after the show, which was really funny, what was the car we're in? It was one of those nice.
I think it was a limousine or something. We just got picked up by a limousine.
It wasn't a limo. It was like one of those. I can't remember what it is, like a Maybach or something. One of those high-end town cars or something. And it was me and Prince crammed in the back driving home. Well, not driving home, driving back to his place. And after putting the energy out for that short amount of time, we're used to long shows where you have 2 hours to get your energy out. But it's sitting there like crickets going, okay. And it was could have been midday, it wasn't night or anything. It was just during the day when I was like, okay, now what are we going to do?
Audience, all loud, big, epic music, run back, get in the car, crickets. High comedy.
Wow. So we all had a laugh and a moment in the back of the car,
because it was the stillness. What are we doing now? You want to get into the next thing, and there wasn't anything else scheduled.
Yeah, and that's TV for you. But we know it's gonna, it's a broad audience, like the biggest audience, and one of the biggest audiences in the world, and all this energy and just
In cricket.
Like, okay, now what do we do?
Wow.
Something. Yeah, but we had more energy to get at. We weren't satisfied.
None of us drink. We're not going to go and get trashed after at midday. We don't do that anyway. What do we do? What do we play? Are we doing something? We go at what? Really?
Well, with me growing up in the States, Saturday Night Live was a major influence and a major part of my teenage years and off to college, etc. Were you guys as aware of the history, the significance of Saturday Night Live in American culture, being where you were from? This too is a question from Audria in Atlanta. And so performing there, did it touch you differently, or was just another show?
Well, me and Nandy love comedy. So it's a good question, Andrea. And the show that we did, Steve Martin was the host.
Okay.
And he was one of our mum's favorite actors growing up. So we watched all of his movies. Plus we loved comedy, and we were familiar with Saturday Night Live. Maybe not so much the history, but just we used to watch it and love comedy and all that kind of stuff. So it was a big deal for me, and I loved it. And I loved that just being able to be backstage and watch. It's live. There's actual stages moving around, cameras. Everything just actually happens now on sets. There's no pre-recording. So it had the similar feel to when we do live shows, but their version with actors, and just it has that different, flow energy, and it's really exciting.
Okay.
So I felt like that was definitely
Steve Martin too.
And Steve Martin, yeah.
I think it was in a dressing room and the door was open, or maybe just wandering in the hallway or something. Do you remember exactly where it was?
I don't know. Maybe you just walked past in the hallway.
Maybe it was in the hallway.
It's really cute. Right?
If you guys could go back and relive one performance, I know that's a huge question. But if you could relive one performance, which one would it be?
Probably the Alma Awards for me, because I love salsa music. All that Latin groove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely that one. And or when Michael Jackson came to the Rio, and we got to do our performance for him.
For him.
He was our inspiration, and we learned how to dance from watching his videos in the beginning before we were trained. And so he was sitting in the audience, and we got to actually kind of pay tribute through that performance for him. Not that that was what our commitment was behind the energy.
Yeah. We were just like, let's just obviously nail it. And I remember giving myself goosebumps during that performance. That's when you're at one with the music, with source, with your intention, and your idol sitting right there.
Right there.
You have to give it him energetically.
Okay. Well, I want to devote some
love energy.
I do want to devote some time to get back to what you are currently doing and give you the opportunity to make everybody who may not know aware of what you're doing. And then let's get into how they can find you on social media. This kind of lends into a question that came in from my art director. She's doing live canvas art through this whole show. So shout out to Maya from H-Town, my art director, who wanted to know, how did working with him impact what you, and have you taken anything away? What can you take away from what you learned with him that you incorporate in what you do now?
Okay, where to start? For me, everything, his way of living and his way of being is definitely with me. I didn't feel like I learned it when I was with him, but once I started all my own spiritual journey and discovering everything for myself, then I go, oh, that was how he did that. That was how he did that. Not over planning, not over overthinking, staying in the creative flow, just living creatively, no over, trying to prove anything, just being able to be present and living your life like that. That's definitely with me. And that's also what I teach through my coaching.
Okay.
So I'm a spiritual life coach, and I help people align and master the listening of their own intuition so they can live a life aligned with their true gifts and their true purpose to uplift the planet. So definitely his influence is in there too. And through what I discovered and related, that's how he did that too. So I implement that into the coaching to help people be that for themselves.
Okay.
With that, I offer 30-minute introduction sessions for anyone that wants to come and discover whether coaching with me would be aligned for you. If you feel like you've got any blockages or limitations with your life, or you're not feeling like something's right or something's off, or you want to connect more with your intuition and live in more flow state, and more of a freer kind of lifestyle of abundance, then hit me up, and you can find me on my website, which is mayamcclean.com. And you can either email me through there or send me, you can go straight into my calendar and book in a free 30-minute session, which is really easy. I think I'm going away for a week, so I'll probably have more in my calendar, but you can email me too. Or you can DM me on Instagram. That's an easy way. Maya McClean is my Instagram account. Or through my business Instagram, which is Live Your Highest Truth. So you can find them, they're all attached to each other. So yeah, that's one, definitely an influence through him, through that. And then also my music was also an influence too, just because of the mindset and the connection to source. Then the music just turned into something totally different, because I did music before and it felt like all structured and trying to write hits and all that kind of stuff, and I felt so limited to it. Wasn't that it was bad, I just didn't have the connection. And now the music's really healing. So I learned from him around just being authentic with yourself and allowing whatever's authentic for you to come out. Not allowing people to edit your stuff either. Not saying that's good or bad, but he just wrote what he wrote and that's it.
That's it.
He just did him in whatever. And I'm just like, the music I'm working on is just like, it all just comes out in 5 minutes. Or 20 minutes, like some of them just come out really quick, and I might edit it just as I'm singing it. And the more I perform things and share the music, then sometimes I'll edit things naturally and organically, the words, which, this feels better. But I'm not sitting going, what's better? I just don't do that anymore. And that feels authentic and true to me. And that has me even connect to the music even more, because it's just, it feels beautiful.
Okay.
So, yeah, the music and the life coaching is what I'm working on now. But then in Nandy also, we've been started some clubhouse events. We have the Prince Alumni Backstage Clubhouse. So for anyone that's on Clubhouse, they've opened it up to Androids now too. So you can get on, you got to ask someone to invite you in if you're not already in. But if you're in Clubhouse, it's another new social media app for those that don't know. You can go into there and follow the club, which is Prince Alumni Club. And we have events on usually every second Saturday. That's called Prince Alumni Backstage, and we have different topics for that event. Like last week we did a networking event, which was awesome, where people are sharing their projects and kind of supporting each other with whatever they need, resources, investment, partnerships, anything like that they need help with to move their project forward. So that's really supportive. And then we also have more conversations around Prince, and like, I don't know, what was it like to going to Prince backstage parties or whatever, so that's an event that we do every second week that you're more than welcome to come, anyone that's interested.
Because of you, I went and set up my clubhouse, so you will be seeing me coming into space. So thanks for giving heads up the other week when we spoke, and I followed your instructions. I have a profile. I'm going to get it to you. You'll see me joining in, and I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for that. And I know there's others out there who already participate, and I'm sure they can say that they have benefited dearly by being able to interact with you. I'm looking forward to doing the same. So, Nandy, you want to weigh in on inspiration relates to what you now?
Well, in one of those clubhouses, the last one we did, which I love connecting people, and like, I know talking about Prince is a lot of the past stuff, and he used to not want to talk about the past.
Right.
So empowering people to live into their future and what they're really connected to and what they're committed to, and being profitable with that. I love hosting calls like that. So the last one we did was on that topic, which was pretty interesting. And so I wanted to invite you to come in and share what projects you're doing on the next one, that when we do that next topic. And if it's not that topic, we can, obviously, tag you in and say that. So definitely come up on stage so we can, share the love and spread the joy and opportunities and stuff that you're giving for people. So thanks for doing what you do.
And I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, you will be hearing from me and wait to the next one. I really can't wait to the next one.
Anyone else out there too, if you have projects that you want to promote, I'll come up and chat. Like, we're welcome for you to come in and we can bring you up on stage and you can share with the community, with the Prince community, what you're doing. And if you have anything to offer anybody, you can bring that as well. So it's
well, hit everyone with your website, your social media tags. Hit everybody with that right now so they'll know how to find you.
Yeah, so obviously I'm directing now, so just quickly I create promotional content for people, for their businesses, I direct music videos as well, testimonial videos, anything like that. If you need content, hit me up. I film in Los Angeles. I can fly out to do shoots if you're not based in Los Angeles as well. So we're like a full house agency that comes from like the content creation, production and post as well. If you don't mind, I can show a little bit of my work and share my stuff real quick.
All means.
Okay, here we go.
Can you tell me what happened?
I appreciate you sharing. I was able to get all of the questions in from everyone. My sister Audrey in DC, her questions were more about all the choreography and the dance and things. So hers kind of got blended in with everybody. But I do want to shout out to Audrey in DC for sending in her question. And then the bonus question comes from my University of Houston sister, Dee Dee, kind of in a just a little humorous way. She wanted to know, like, who's the oldest between the two of you?
Love it. So we were, Mum had a cesarean. A lot of the times with twins, if there's not complications, but usually we can come early.
Yeah, okay.
So we came 6 weeks early.
6 weeks early.
So the body wasn't ready to give a natural birth. So it was a cesarean happened, and I just happened to be on top or closest to the opening. So I got put out first, and then Maya was second. So
okay,
a minute older. Yeah, but you guys, you can find me on nandymcclean.com too. So you can message me. You can have a consultation if there's any projects that you want to shoot that you're passionate about. If you have a business that you want to promote and need online social media video content, hit me up.
I also wanted to have another offering too. With the Prince Alumni Clubhouse that we have, because it is the Prince Alumni and the family. You can do like spin-off events on there. So I'm doing one on every second Friday that's focused more on spirituality and more of the spiritual conversation around Prince, as well as yourselves and, personal alignment, empowerment. I've kind of partnered with my company and the Prince Alumni Backstage for that event. So anyone that wants to come to that, you're more than welcome to, and we dive deeper and is really like gentle and loving and like kumbaya vibe. But also a lot of downloads, like some of the people that come on actually have a direct connect with Prince and they can channel him
Right.
and his energy that comes through. But for anyone also that wants to start their own event, if they're part of the Purple family, hit me up to DM me on Instagram and say that you want to start an event, and there's a way that I can enable you to be able to start your own event through our club. So all the people that are already following the club will be pinged to your event when it opens, you know.
Gotcha.
And just lead your own event under Prince Alumni Club. I mean, I'm offering that to you. I know you just started your own club too, but if you want to do that as well, you know, depending on what feels more impactful for you.
Yes.
Like spin-off support.
Right. Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to have made both of your acquaintance in this life. Few times I've been in your physical presence, I've always felt special because of my personal admiration. So I do want to thank you for taking the time to be a part of this production. Prince Day Houston, as I mentioned before, we're set out and committed to celebrating the life of Prince by showcasing local artists, local DJs, local creatives, with the message of giving back in the same fashion that he gave back and in the fashion that you guys are giving back with your time and your talents. So everything we do, donations, sponsorships, collaborations, there's always a benefit. And PR and Alumni Foundation is one of affiliates. I'm proud to say that Jackie Thompson, dear friend of mine, the president of PR and Alumni, has always been available for me, and me being an ambassador for PR and Alumni. And yes, we code with Brother Van Jones that Prince was very involved with. So we give back, and this is how we funk in H-Town, bringing you nothing but the illustrious of the illustrious guests. So everyone, give it up again for the twins, my sisters. Love you guys to death. Can't wait to see what's next. Can't wait to be a part of it. And I will continue to be a big fan and be a big supporter of what you're doing. And any last parting words before we kick it back to the band and get back into the music?
Sending that love to everyone.
Love you all. And thank you, Craig, for everything that you're doing there to support the community. It's beautiful.
Getting everyone up and dancing, listening to the music again.
Yeah, so you got
Clubhouse.
another round of applause to the twins. Get up out your seat. Get ready for my music director, CB, and my girl, Miss Bonds, about to kick it back to the live music showcase. Man, y'all take it away.